They tell you he's safe, that he's in care. You trust the system. So, you decide to visit unannounced. But the house is silent. And in that silence, you find him, alone, covered in cuts and bruises you can't explain, with no one there to help. This isn't a one-off tragedy. It's a pattern hidden inside a multi-billion-dollar promise. Today, I'm going to expose the rot at the core of the NDIS, that they are spending billions to hide, but to understand how a system meant to protect our most vulnerable became this. We have to go back to the very beginning. That beginning was 2013, and you have to remember, what they sold us wasn't just another government program. It was presented as one of the most ambitious reforms in our nation's history. A world-class system, a lifeline. The language was big, the promise even bigger. The goal was to give hundreds of thousands of Australians with disabilities the funding, the choice, and the control to live with dignity, to build their own lives. It was meant to be a beacon of hope. That was the dream, the one we all bought into. And for one woman in Adelaide, Anne-Marie Smith, that dream wasn't just a political promise. It was meant to be her absolute salvation. Instead, the very system designed to give her independence would become her prison, and it would kill her. Her prison wasn't a cell with bars. It was a single, woven rattan chair in her own Adelaide home. For over a year, this is where 54-year-old Anne-Marie Smith lived. Oh, it's where she was left to waste away. And it's where she died. The people who were supposed to be providing her with full-time care funded by you and me through the NDIS, they just left her there. When authorities finally entered that house, the chair she'd been confined to for over 365 days had physically rotted from her own waste. She had a gangrenous pressure sore so deep it went down to the bone. The official report used a clinical, horrifying phrase I will never forget. She was found in a state of advanced decomposition while still alive. And while Anne-Marie was slowly, painfully dying, her paid carer, Rosa Maria Mayone, wasn't providing care. She was systematically stealing, draining Anne-Marie's bank accounts, forging loans in her name, selling her property. The NDIS system wasn't a safety net for Anne-Marie. For her carer, it was a blank check funding a lifestyle. In April 2020, Anne-Marie's body finally gave out. Septic shock, multiple organ failure, caused by severe malnutrition and the infection raging from that wound. This was a slow, torturous, and entirely preventable death. And the price for that? For a year of neglect that one investigator reportedly said was worse than a scene from a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, our justice system handed Rosa Maria Mayone a sentence of just 6 years and 7 months. It's easy to hear this, to feel that sickness in your stomach, and to see this as the act of one monstrous individual. But it wasn't. As horrific as this is, Anne-Marie Smith's story is not a one-off tragedy. It's not an anomaly. It was the first data point, the first crack that revealed a terrifying pattern of systemic failure. And as you're about to see, the next piece of evidence is just as damning. That next piece of evidence has a name, Kyah Lucas. She was 28 years old. In February 2022, in a town called Orange in New South Wales, 2 support workers from a registered NDIS provider were tasked with giving her a bath. A simple, routine act of daily care. A moment of trust, except they didn't check the water temperature. The water was 60 degrees Celsius. To put that in perspective, that is hot enough to cause a full thickness, 3rd degree burn in just a few seconds. Kyah was placed into that bath. She suffered those burns across 40% of her body. She didn't die instantly. She was taken to hospital, and for 5 agonizing days she clung to life before she passed away. A judge in her case later said, "There are no words to properly express the degree of harm suffered, and the consequences for this lethal failure." The provider, a company called Live Better, was eventually fined $1.8 million in a civil case. But let's be clear about what didn't happen. No individual faced criminal charges. No one went to jail for boiling a woman alive. And that NDIS provider, Live Better, they are still operating today, still registered, still receiving your taxpayer money to care for the vulnerable. These stories, Anne-Marie's, Kyah's, they are devastating, but they are still just individual data points in a catastrophic failure. They don't, and they can't, capture the true scale of this horror. The government's own data reveals a truth that's hard to stomach. The system designed to protect people like Kyah is statistically more dangerous than sending them to a maximum security prison. Those individual stories of suffering are just the visible surface. They are the cracks that expose a systemic crisis. And when you step back and look at the cold, hard numbers, the government's own data, the picture becomes terrifyingly clear. In a single year, official reports from registered NDIS providers documented 3,120 deaths. On top of that, tens of thousands of reportable incidents, that's code for serious injuries, abuse and neglect, are logged with the NDIS Commission annually. And that's just for registered providers. An analysis by the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare confirms this horror on a statistical level. It found mortality among disability service users was 4.7 times higher than in the general population, even after adjusting for age and sex. The numbers don't lie. To put this into a perspective that no one can ignore, my team and I dug into the data. The conclusion we reached is sickening. You are twice as likely to die in registered NDIS care as you are in an Australian maximum security prison. Let that sink in for a moment. A safety net, funded by your taxes, is statistically more dangerous than a prison built for our most violent criminals. But that's not the real story. Because every number I've just given you, every death, every injury, every single one of those 3,120 souls comes from less than 10% of the providers in the system, the tiny regulated fraction. Now, let's look into the black hole of the other 90%. And now we arrive at the single most important fact of this entire investigation, the one piece of information that reveals the true, bottomless scale of this disaster. Every number we have just discussed, every death, every injury, every horrifying statistic that makes the NDIS more dangerous than a maximum security prison comes from only one source, the registered providers. That's a group of about 16,000 to 27,000 organizations who are legally required to report when things go wrong. But what if I told you all of this is just the audited, sanitized, official version of the story, the part they are willing for us to see? Because those registered providers are just the tip of a colossal iceberg. The vast majority of the NDIS market is made up of over 250,000 unregistered providers. They constitute approximately 94% of the entire system. 250,000 operators hidden in plain sight. And here is the secret they truly do not want you to know. This 94% of the market has zero mandatory legal requirement to report participant deaths, serious injuries, or cases of abuse and neglect to the NDIS Commission. None. The horror we know is from less than 10% of the system. The rest is a complete black hole, a void where accountability goes to die. I'll be honest, when I first confirmed that all this data was only from that tiny fraction of providers, I had to step away from my desk. The real number isn't just a statistic, it's a black hole of human suffering. What was your immediate reaction to that reveal? Let me know in the comments. A system with a 90% blind spot, where thousands can suffer in silence. Yet, how does that happen? You might think it's incompetence. The truth is worse. This was not a bug. It was built as a business model. That business model transforms the NDIS into a rigged ATM. It's been systematically captured by criminal networks and fraudulent providers who see it not as a safety net, but as a machine spitting out taxpayer cash into the hands of anyone with a fake invoice and no conscience. Stop. I know what you're thinking. Criminals, fraud. These are just words on a news report. But I need you to understand this isn't happening in a vacuum. They are using your tax dollars to fund their operations. And the way they designed this system is the key to how your money is being siphoned right now. The government called it choice and control. On paper, a noble idea meant to give disabled Australians autonomy. But they combined this mantra with almost non-existent oversight. The promise was empowerment. The reality was a gold rush for the unscrupulous. This isn't a theory. The government's own fraud fusion task force is executing warrants on major fraud rings, like a $3.5 million scheme uncovered in Sydney, involving organised crime and money laundering. We've seen convictions. A Victorian provider was jailed for a $296,000 fraud, specifically exploiting participants who couldn't speak English. A South Australian CEO was caught defrauding 19 of his own clients for over $404,000. These arrests are just the visible cracks in a collapsing dam. Independent analysis estimates that systemic fraud and overcharging could be costing us, the taxpayers, up to $8 billion every single year. Picture it. A giant industrial vacuum hose plunged directly into a container labelled "Your Taxes," siphoning that cash straight into the pockets of shadowy figures. This has all the hallmarks of a deliberate extraction scheme, disguised as a support system. So, $8 billion a year vanishes. Who pays the price for this rigged ATM? It's not the politicians, it's not the banks. It's you. And the bill is coming due in a way that will directly threaten your family's financial future. And make no mistake, this isn't some abstract problem for the government to solve. This scandal, this catastrophic failure, has a bill attached. And that bill is being sent directly to every working Australian family. It is a direct and present threat to your financial security. The NDIS is now the single fastest growing pressure on the federal budget. Let's look at the numbers. According to the Grattan Institute, its costs grew at an average of 24% every single year between 2020 and 2024. The government's own official projections show the scheme's expenses rocketing from $46.4 billion next year to nearly $60 billion a year by 2028. This isn't free money, it's a fiscal time bomb. And it forces the government into one of three choices, all of which land on your doorstep. 1. They raise your taxes. 2. They cut other essential services that you rely on, like healthcare and education. Or 3. They plunge the nation into deeper debt, a debt that your children will be forced to inherit. While they preach compassion from a podium, they are secretly writing checks that your kids will have to cash. That runaway budget isn't an abstract number. It's your next tax hike. It's another reason your mortgage rate won't come down. The unchecked growth, fueled by the fraud and waste we've exposed, now consumes 1.7% of our entire economy. It's projected to hit 2.1% within a decade. This creates a massive structural deficit that is designed to be paid for by one group: middle-class taxpayers. It actively crowds out everything else, making your struggle with the cost of living even worse. So, let's be clear about what we have uncovered. A dream of compassion that became a lethal trap. A system proven to be more dangerous than our prisons. A black hole of abuse where the vast majority of providers operate with zero oversight. And it's all being paid for by your family's future. The government calls this a success. Here is the real verdict. The dream of the NDIS has, for too many, become a fatal trap. And it's funded by you. We are funding a system that is now costing over $50 billion a year, only to produce casualty rates worse than our own prison system. This is a machine where the most vulnerable people in our society are preyed upon, where providers can kill with incompetence and face no real consequences, because 90% of this entire scheme operates in total darkness. And the government, the agencies, the people in charge, they will stand in front of cameras and continue to call this a success. They are banking on your ignorance. They are counting on your silence. We cannot let that happen. The only power strong enough to fix this, the only thing they are truly afraid of, is public outrage. They need to know that we know and that we will not accept this. This expose, everything you've just seen, means nothing if it stays here. The people in charge are counting on your silence. Break it. Share this video. Send it to your family, your friends, your colleagues. Send it to everyone you know. Make this the story they cannot ignore. If you believe in this kind of journalism, if you believe we need to hold them accountable, subscribe and hit the bell. Let's do this together.